8 ways humans broke each other. This is what they built, the rack. Device 1. The most iconic torture instrument in Western history. A wooden frame with rollers at each end and a crank on the side. Your wrists tied to one end, ankles to the other. Someone turned the crank, slowly. Every turn stretched your body past what joints can take. First came the pain, then the sound, bones leaving their sockets. Most confessed in minutes. The ones who held on always wished they hadn't. Used at the Tower of London from 1420. Guy Fawkes was racked after the gunpowder plot. His signature before and after look like two different people. Not outlawed in Britain until 1708. Nearly 3 centuries of use. A machine that turned the human spine into a confession. The rack was not built by monsters. It was commissioned by governments and operated by officials, used on people who had names and families. The Brazen Bull. Device 2. Ancient Greece, 6th century BC. A hollow bronze bull with a sealed door, a fire lit underneath. The victim placed inside, the door sealed. As the bronze heated, the person was roasted alive. But Phalaris added one detail that defines cruelty at its most theatrical. Acoustic tubes inside the bull's head. The screams transformed into what sounded like a bull bellowing. The crowd heard an animal, not the human dying inside. The inventor was said to be the very first person placed inside it. Phalaris sealed the door himself to demonstrate how it worked. Whether myth or truth, someone designed this. Someone built it. Someone stood outside and listened. That is the darkest fact of all. The breaking wheel, device 3. Medieval Europe. If public, deliberate. Built not just to kill, but to make an entire city watch every second. The condemned tied to a large wooden wheel with limbs spread outward. An executioner with an iron hammer began at the extremities. Ankles first, shins, knees, thighs, arms, torso. Each bone broken in a specific order. They always followed the order, every time. In some cases, the wheel was raised on a pole for days, the broken body left there for the public to see. Sometimes the victim was still alive. Damien's was broken on the wheel in Paris in 1757, 4 hours in front of thousands of spectators. This was called justice. Last recorded use in Germany was 1841, less than 200 years ago. The wheel did not just break bones, it broke the idea of a quick death, the Iron Maiden. Device 4. The most famous torture device in history, and possibly the greatest lie ever displayed in a museum. A cabinet shaped like a human figure, lined on the inside with iron spikes, positioned to pierce without causing immediate death. Here is what historians confirmed. The Iron Maiden was almost certainly a fabrication, a myth invented in the 19th century. The first known examples were built in the 1800s and sold as medieval, likely invented by a philosopher named Stephen Keys. But someone looked at that empty cabinet and filled it with spikes anyway, just in case, because it felt like something humans would do. The idea was so believable the entire world accepted it as historical fact, because it felt true, because they were right about human nature. The Judas Cradle, Device 5. The Spanish Inquisition. A pyramid with a sharp wooden apex. The victim suspended above by ropes, lowered onto the point with precision. The weight of the body did the work, slowly, over hours, sometimes days. The torturer controlled the speed, faster for confession, slower for suffering. The cradle rarely killed directly. It was built for something worse than death. It weakened. It destroyed sleep. It made the body betray itself over time. The device was never cleaned between victims. Infection killed many who survived the torture itself. No mercy in its design, built to outlast human endurance. Every person who sat above that point had already lost. The only question was when. The cradle waited. It always won. Scaphism. Device 6. Ancient Persia. 2 boats fastened together. Only the head, hands, and feet exposed outside the wooden enclosure. In milk and honey forced into the mouth in large quantities. The same mixture smeared over every exposed part of the body. The boat set on a still pond. Everyone waited. Sugar and warmth attracted insects within hours. Then their larvae. The victim could not move, could not escape, could only feel what was happening inside and outside simultaneously while still alive. Plutarch recorded that a soldier named Mithridates survived 17 days. 17 days, still alive, eaten from the outside and the inside. Whether truth or propaganda remains debated, but someone wrote it down with enough detail that historians believe it happened. The Thumbscrew. Device 7. Small, simple, devastating. 2 metal plates connected by a threaded bolt. The thumb placed between them. The bolt turned, the plates compressed. Slowly at first, then faster. Bones in the thumb break at low pressure. Could also be applied to fingers, toes, any extremity. Its genius was portability. The rack required a room. The thumbscrew fit in a coat pocket. Used across Europe in witch trials and political interrogations. Scotland, France, Germany. Always present, always ready. Also used psychologically. Simply shown to prisoners not yet touched. The sight alone extracted confessions from most people. The simplest tools are often the most effective. No mythology, no spectacle, just metal, bone, and someone turning a screw while watching your face. Lingchi, Device 8, Ancient China, death by 1,000 cuts, reserved for the most severe crimes. High treason, killing one's own parents. The condemned tied to a frame in public. A trained executioner began cutting, methodically. The cuts started small, skin only. The art of Lingchi was keeping the condemned alive as long as possible. Death by blood loss had to be prevented, until the proper moment. Each cut deliberate, each moment calculated to extend without ending. Historical records describe executions lasting hours. Some accounts claim longer. In 1905, Fujuli was executed by Lingchi in Beijing. French soldiers photographed the execution. The photographs still exist today. They are not easy to look at? They should not be. Lingchi was abolished in China in 1905, the same year as those photographs. For over 1,000 years, a civilization used this as its most severe sentence. The darkest things on Earth are never as far in the past as we think. 8 devices, 8 civilizations, 8 definitions of justice. That none of these people thought they were the villains. They believed they were restoring order, extracting truth, punishing evil, all of it built with intention, with craftsmanship, with pride. That is the darkest passage of all, not the devices, the people who built them, and the societies that called it necessary. If this disturbed you, the next dark passage will be worse. Every deadliest poison in history. Coming next, the rack. 600 years. A machine that turned the human spine into a confession. One crank at a time. The Brazen Bull. A bronze shell that turned human screams into the sound of an animal. The crowd never knew. The breaking wheel. Every bone broken in order. Every second watched. Every moment deliberate and called justice. The Iron Maiden. A myth. But someone still built it. And someone filled it with spikes. And the world believed it. The Judas Cradle. Never needed to hurry. The weight of the body was enough. It waited. It always won. Scaphism. A still pond. Milk and honey. 17 days. A soldier who could not die fast enough. The Thumbscrew. Small enough for a coat pocket. Powerful enough to break the will of any person who ever lived. Lingchi. 1,000 cuts across 1,000 years. The last execution was photographed. Those photographs still exist. 8 devices, 8 passages through the darkest part of what we are. Everyone built by someone who believed they were right. The rack, a wooden frame, a crank, the sound of bones, used by governments for 3 centuries and called interrogation. The rack, a wooden frame, a crank, the sound of bones leaving sockets, used by governments for 3 centuries. The Brazen Bull, a crowd that heard music, a person inside who only heard fire and their own voice going quiet. The breaking wheel. The executioner always started at the ankles, worked upward, followed the order. Every single time. The Iron Maiden. It may never have been used, but someone built it anyway. That tells you everything. The Judas Cradle. The genius was patience. It did not need to be violent. It only needed to be slow. Scaphism. The victim could feel everything, could see the sky, could hear the world, could not move, could not end it. The Thumbscrew. Every interrogator in Europe carried one, in a pocket, ready. waiting for the moment. Lingchi. The executioner trained for years to do this correctly. There was a craft to it. That is the horror. 8 rooms, 8 tables. Now 8 sets of hands doing what they were told was the right thing. The confessions from the rack were often false. People said anything to make it stop. The governments accepted them. Phalaris was real. The cruelty of that era was real. The Brazen Bull fits perfectly into both. The last man broken on the wheel in Germany died in front of a crowd that had seen it before. Nobody stopped it. Museums displayed the Iron Maiden and charged admission. Visitors lined up. The myth made money for a century. The Judas Cradle extracted confessions of heresy during the Inquisition. Most were false. Nobody questioned them. Scaphism was described by Greek historians with a specificity that suggests something real did happen somewhere. The thumbscrew became standard equipment for interrogators across 6 countries and 200 years of history. Lingchi was photographed in 1905 by soldiers who had never seen it. They could not look away. Neither can we.